Hello and welcome back to SiGMA TV. Today I'm joined by Mr. Kim Morrison, professor in neuroscience and the very own founder of Mindway AI. And today we're taking a look at discussing the role of the AI in the gaming industry, specifically AI solutions that identify, solve, and prevent the inevitable risks and many more complications that materialize in this vast industry. So, Mr. Kim, it's great to talk to you today.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Let's get to Mindway. If you could elaborate more on what you guys do and how did you come about developing your product?
Good question. So we're basically a spin-out company, you could say, from a university, Aarhus University here in Denmark. And we have a research tradition in problem gambling and related areas. And we have done a lot of studies in neuroimaging and tried to understand, the inner workings of the brain. And it's really based on that we have started Mindway a couple of years ago, because essentially we would like to transfer research into practice. And we see a big, demand in the market, a big problem in the market with the way that, responsible gambling is handled today. And, we can get back to that, but basically by a lot of, a set of rules that are determined by the operators. And what we would like to do is bring the newest research, not only in neuroscience, but also in artificial intelligence, which I think can really help the industry, with earlier detection, better detection, and also, helping customers mitigate their, potential problems. So this is really why we started the Mindway.
Awesome. And what characterizes your RG solutions? What separates you from others?
Yeah, so we, pride ourselves that we have this research tradition. So it means that we would like to go back to the roots. We would like to go to more or less the biological basis of addiction and then try to work from there. Concretely, what that means is that we work with a number of internationally renowned experts. So these people are experts in, psychology, in the research behind addiction. It can be clinicians and so on. Really have a fairly deep understanding of addiction, what it looks like, how it's treated, and so on. And what we'd like to do is that we'd sort of like to use their knowledge and their expertise and bring that to the operators. Now, of course, we know that we cannot, bring these experts physically to, online casinos and so on. But what we can do is try to wrap up their expertise with an artificial intelligence system. So effectively, what that means is that we have, think of it as a virtual psychologist. So we have used AI to mirror the way that, psychologist experts are making decisions and identifying problem gambling behavior, and then basically, putting that into a box, and that box can then be used by, operators as a third-party instrument for detecting at-risk gamblers.
Great. And it's very fascinating how the role of AI has extended not only to the online gaming, but also to every gaming vertical there is, as well as offline channels. And I've heard that your RG solution game scanner has been recently validated by the GLI. Could you expound on this a little bit more?
Yes, this is something we are really proud of, and it really extends, you could say, the research tradition we come from. So we are really used to, an environment where we have to be very open about what we do, and also let, other parties basically, more or less audit or inspect what we are doing. So we want to be, very open about our performance, and we'd actually like somebody, truly independent, such as DLI, to really objectively assess the results that we are presenting. So when we're talking about the performance, you could say, because we would like to say that we are, a certain percentage as accurate as a human expert, and we want, somebody to validate that. So GLI recently did that with, particular data from a particular gambling operator, and that means that we can now say, that our, not just the research, but also the performance of Mindway AI has actually been externally validated in particular data.
And so, Mr. Kim, what does the self-test provide that PGSI doesn't?
So one of the issues with the PDSI is it's really based on a number of questions that might come off as uncomfortable. So we're essentially asking people, about their gambling behavior, and I sometimes compare it to asking people how much they drink. So we know that there's a true answer, but we also know that there's an acceptable answer, and maybe that's the one that we're going to get. So for an operator, I don't think it's the most objective way of understanding the potential problems for a customer. So what we have done instead is that we have a game, and this is a standardized game. And after all, gaming is what people go to casinos for. So we think, first of all, this is going to be more engaging. But we also get an opportunity to understand the decision making for the individual. And there's a lot of research that has shown that, it's a game that consists of 4 decks of cards, and you're asked to optimize your gain over time by selecting, whichever deck you prefer. And the research has shown that people with addiction, they tend to favor some of the decks, whereas people without addiction, they favor other decks. And that means that by the end of the game, we can more or less separate, people with a potential addiction from people with a sustainable behavior. Now, so that gives, operators a much more fair and advanced, you could say, and also research-based way of identifying potential problem gamblers. But it also gives the operator an opportunity to explain to the customer why there might be a problem. So most people would have, elements in their decision-making which is perfectly sustainable, and then other elements that are risky. So instead of making a lecture, one size fits all, then you can communicate now to the, customer, here's what you might be, what might lead you into problem down the road, and here's, a solution for that.
And Mindway always seems to be at the forefront of the development. Can you reveal anything about what you're currently working on?
Yes, happy to. So I think we have by now done a lot of work in detection by bringing the experts, in an AI-fied version. We have done a lot in, sort of quantifying and understanding what is problem gambling behavior with a game. We'd like to go one step further now and also help in mitigating problems, and then helping back or nudging back, you could say, customers to a more sustainable trajectory. So one thing we know that for a fact is that impulsivity or over-impulsivity is one of the main problems in addiction. And again, from neuroscience, from neuroimaging, we know that there are sort of, you could say, brain training tools, little fun games that you can play that actually has the intention of making people less impulsive. So that, at least in theory, that gives customers now an opportunity to be mindful that they are just about to make another bet, they're just about to make another gamble. And in that moment of, you could say, mindfulness, you also give the customer an opportunity to make a decision of not continuing gambling right now. So it's all about, reducing impulsivity, giving control back to customers to make an informed decision whether they want to take a break or whether they want to continue.
Right. Such an amazing tool, especially gambling addiction is seen as a hopeless case for most operators as they constantly battle with this. And I believe that AI solutions can only do so much, maybe not fully eliminate it, but deplete it to a huge extent. With that said, would you say AI is a magic bullet to gambling addiction?
So it's a good question whether artificial intelligence is sort of a magic bullet. And of course, the natural answer is no, it isn't. What we're doing different, and where I think we are really getting ahead, is that we are combining artificial intelligence with human expertise. So we're actually using artificial intelligence, you could say, to understand human behavior, to understand human expertise. So it's really in uniting those two disciplines, if you will, that we're really making headway here, because data-driven analysis in itself, such as AI would do, is certainly not enough, and it's actually been shown to lead to a lot of biases and a lot of problems. So I really believe in combining the two. So we have the control by the experts, we have the power from the AI. Unite those two and really have a powerful tool.
Impeccable insight, Mr. Kim. And how do you see the future of sustainable gambling?
So I think we are definitely going to see lots more AI in responsible gambling. My hope is that we are also going to see more innovative tools, and we certainly have a lot coming. And I can only hope that other operators, even other industries will start to take notice of this and sort of see that we can really move pretty far ahead by using not just artificial intelligence, but really by using neuroscience and all the evidence and the evidence-based sort of procedures and tools that are available in that research space. So there's really tons of unlocked potential that I'd like to see being brought into life in the very near future.
Well, Mr. Kim, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. This was a very compelling discussion, and I hope this could be a resource to our audience as much as it is to us. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
And that is all for myself and Kim. We'd love to hear how you found this interview, so share your thoughts in the comments below.